Even after a bad loss to the San Francisco 49ers, we all have to remember one thing. The Eagles are still in first place and still control their own destiny. Yo, by the way, kick Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. You know what? I gotta tell you, I am so ready for this Dallas Cowboys game right now. I could put a helmet on. I'm ready to run through a wall. I don't care. I'm ready to play this game. I cannot wait to get on the field again after what happened. And I gotta tell you, it is going to bring me total joy to pull out the broom, start sweeping, because it is December 1st. We are in Cowboys choke season, and I'd like to deliver it a little early. You know what I mean? Let them start choking on it right now. Pause. But before we get into all of it and everything I have to say, if you're new to the channel, you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure to subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And just thank you for all the support you guys give to me, man. The growth of this channel has been crazy. I often don't talk about it. It's not really my style. But I just want to thank you guys really for the support. It's just humbling, very humbling. Thank you. Now, you know, I got a lot of different emotions because, you know, usually by Tuesday, whether win or loss, I try to move on from the previous game. But there are certain things that happened in that 49ers game that has been gnawing at me, that really bother me. And it isn't that the linebacker played bad, or it isn't that the safeties played bad, or we didn't scheme this or we didn't scheme that. My problem is with the attitude, with the way this team viewed this game, the way they took it, the fact that the 49ers bullied you at home, the fact that when James Bradbury is getting pushed around in warm-ups, nobody's sticking up for him. When Jalen Hurts gets pushed out of bounds, really could have been called a late hit. Nobody comes to help him up, and nobody sticks up for him. I think this team was not mentally prepared. Now, a guy like Big Sills, he'll say that they're exhausted, they're tired. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they are fatigued. Maybe. And that's all more of a reason why we need home field advantage throughout the playoffs. You know, I got to say this too. It's so easy, these ESPN announcers and media announcers, it's really easy for them to come out every week and tell you the Eagles are this, the Eagles aren't that, the Eagles are going to do this, the Eagles are going to do that. And every week they're wrong. Every week they're wrong. And then all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, the Eagles lose one game. They're like, see, I told you so. I knew all along. Like, they're smart. Ah, you sister's ass. You don't know shit. You didn't know. You said we would lose to Miami. You said we would lose to Dallas. You said we would lose to Kansas City. You said we were going to go to Washington lose. You say we're going to lose to Buffalo. Every week you're wrong. One time you're right. And then, oh, you're trying to act like you knew all along. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. The Eagles lost this game to the 49ers. In my opinion, because this game meant more to the 49ers than it did to the Eagles. That's how it was perceived. The Eagles were not ready for this game. Now, if that's fatigue and stuff like that, maybe we're going to find out. But I think the Eagles didn't come out to play that game. I don't think this happens again. We will see the 49ers, and I don't think it's going to happen again. In the meantime, the one thing I like, and if I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would not feel comfortable, is the Eagles don't lose a lot 2 games in a row. Jalen Hurts don't like to lose, and he doesn't lose a lot 2 games in a row. And at least hearing from the players like Dallas Goedert and Brandon Graham, you know, they're saying that, you know, sometimes it's a loss is good if you can learn from it. And that's what it's about. Learn from it. Now you know what the way the 49ers treated you. Now you know what that game was like. And now you know. And I think they really got it. The moment I think the Eagles matched the 49ers intensity-wise and they understood the importance of this game was the cheap shot on Devontae Smith. After that, it woke the Eagles up, but they were already good. Their defense was already gassed, you know. Yeah, they didn't score touchdowns, and it was 6-0. And, yeah, all that stuff hurts, I'm sure. But it starts with the attitude. It starts with mentally where they were at going into that game. But this week with Dallas, I expect to see a lot different. And the one good thing that you can always count on with the Dallas Cowboys is they do a very good job of believing their own hype. They buy into it. And the more days they have off to prepare or for the next game and just to listen to how great they are, they usually do that, and then it bites them in the butt. And I hope it'll bite them in the butt this week. We'll get into the X's and O's and things with the game, but just overall, when you look at this game, this is the most important game. Now, I said the 49ers game was the most important, and it was. And if the Eagles would have won that game, it still would have been. But once they lost, this game is a game you got to win. You got to win it, okay? Because the thing that we have to remember, forget all the negative stuff you hear, this is the worst 10-2 team we've ever seen. The Eagles are this, they're frauds, or this, that. I say this is the most disrespected 10-2 team I've ever seen. This is a 10-2 team that gets no respect. And this is a quarterback that gets no respect. How he's not the top contender. I'll be honest. I think Tyreek Hill might be the MVP of the league right now. If he gets 2,000 yards, I think you have to give it to him. I do. But I don't know how Jalen Hurts isn't number 2. Because Jalen Hurts beat real teams, and he came back, and he carried a team on his back. You can't tell me that this defense is so bad and they're the worst defense in the league, and then tell me that Jalen Hurts has this great team around him, and that's why he wins. Jalen Hurts is carrying his team. We're not 10-2 without Jalen Hurts. All right? If we go in Dallas and we win, it's going to be because of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, maybe besides Tyreek Hill, he's got to be the MVP. Will the Eagles get that respect? No. Would other teams get that respect if it was them? Yes. And that's why nobody likes us, and we don't care. And that's why we're going to go in and double moonwalk Cowboys' ass. Now, Shaq Leonard, he is at the NovaCare today. I think he plays right away this week, and we'll see what he does. He's not going to solve all your problems, but if he can just settle down the linebacking group, if he can add a veteran presence, and if he can just play decent, I'll take it. If it can improve this team at that point, I'll take it. But what's really going to improve the Eagles is going to be the defensive coordinator making the right adjustments. I believe that in the NFL today, if you're going to have a successful defense, I believe you have to play an attacking style. I think you have to game plan, and your game plan should be, and you should build your team around the idea and the premise that you have to get to the quarterback, that you have to get pressure on the quarterback if you want to win in this league. And when you get a guy like Brock Purdy, he's 12 of 15 and a half, and you're not getting pressure with your front 4, or even if you're rushing 5, then you have to do more. You have to start to blitz more. This team should not be losing to an experienced quarterback like Brock Purdy. And I'm not taking anything away from Brock Purdy. I am not a Brock Purdy hater. I don't have any issue with him. I want to see what he becomes. So far, he looks like he's going to turn out to be a pretty good quarterback. But we got to give it time. But the one thing I know is this. If Jim Johnson was the defensive coordinator today, Brock Purdy wouldn't have that game. If you were in the league for 1 to 2 years, you didn't have good games against Jim Johnson. You would think that an Eagles team with a defensive coordinator would try to make a young, inexperienced quarterback be confused by what he's seeing, by what he's reading. The Eagles don't do that. They don't do any of it. And I got to tell you, I don't know whose fault it is. Like you're saying, what do you mean? It's not Desai's fault, or it's not Brian Johnson's fault? I don't know. It's hard for me to believe that. I listened to Sean Desai's press conference. He says all the right things, and he talks about doing these things, and got to attack, and you got to be putting players in better positions. But every week they do the same thing. They don't do it. Brian Johnson, they asked him about, running the ball more, especially early. And he was like, well, we got to see what situation is given. It was like this roundabout question. I'm wondering, are these guys, is it true? Are these guys not allowed to do certain things? Are they being told, you have to use Kenneth stinking Gainwell in the second quarter and take DeAndre Swift out? Is that what's really going on? Is it like, hey, you know what? We are not going to blitz because we don't believe in the blitz, even though you would like to. We don't play that style, and that's the rules. And you have to go out and make a game plan based on it. I really wonder, because it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, to me, it doesn't. The Eagles' game plan for every team every week is the same thing offensively. We're going to throw the ball early, and we're going to run in the second half. That's what they do. And you know what? It doesn't work, because that's what teams are playing against. So you think maybe against like the 49ers, a pretty physical defense, they would come out and say, you know what? Of course you texted me. Oh, that's Big Sills texting me. Okay. Hey, get out of here, cat. So anyways, now see, I got confused. What the hell? I'm too stupid. I'm too stupid to have minor distractions without completely throwing my train of thought out. But, you know, my thing is this. Shit, what the hell did I say? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I'm stupid. I'm a stunod of the first magnitude, okay? But as I was trying to say before I was distracted by cats and texts, the thing is you would think when they came out to play the 49ers, they would have said, you know what, we need to do more RPOs and we need to run early because we can't afford to fall down 10 against this team. But they didn't. Really, what they do is they say, we're going to pass early and we're going to run late. The only game plan we're going to make is what kind of routes we're going to run. They ran a lot of slants early to A.J. Brown. That was, that worked. But you got to run the ball. 3 games this year, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, and the Buffalo game. The Eagles offense got a jolt of energy with DeAndre Swift. Why they don't use him, I don't know. And listen, it's frustrating. And this is a week going up against Dallas where you should be able to run the ball. And you should do it early. And if you don't do it, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And let me tell you, if you don't blitz Dak, if you don't blitz Dak, if you sit in the pocket, if you let him sit in the pocket and just rush 4 and have everybody 9 yards back, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. Okay, so the Eagles have to make adjustments. Maybe the loss and maybe the way in which we lost will make this team finally make the proper adjustments, all right? Maybe. Just maybe. Maybe by tomorrow we'll have Zach Ertz on this team. Sounds like he might come. Sounds like even Sue's getting ready to make a decision. We could essentially this week get Shaq Leonard, Sue, and Zach Ertz. I'll take them all. Okay? So this is a big game this week. There's no question about it. But if they really want to fix the stuff, if they really want to make changes, it's not going to come because you signed Shaq Leonard. It's going to become because your defensive coordinator made adjustments. He made the proper adjustments. I am not a believer, and I just disagree. I don't think that Darius Slay is just complete ass. I don't think James Bradberry is just complete ass. I just think they're not put in the right position. And if you could put them in better positions and play a better style of defense for this team and for the players you have and for what they do, I think you'll be better off. Morrow had a pretty good game when he was able to blitz, and he got 3 sacks that one game. We got to play more a downhill style of defense. We got to attack more. We got to be willing to give up some passes deep. We've got to be willing to risk some big plays in order to get to the quarterback, because that's the one way to negate any offense. You got to get to the quarterback, and that's what the Eagles need to do. And I'm not even saying they have to blitz every down, but they have to do a better job with the rush. They have to make sure they're getting home. Okay, now as we sit here today, the Eagles are 10-2 in first place. You beat Dallas. The chances that you win the division, I feel pretty good. You're going to have a tough situation with Seattle because it's always a tough situation going into Seattle. However, I expect them to win that, beat the Giants, beat Arizona, and beat the Giants. So if we could get this win against Dallas, which in all honesty is going to be a very tough game, I think the Eagles will be okay. Okay, and when they do win, and if they win, we should be well on our way to keep that number 1 seed. If you lose that number 1 seed, then if you lose to the Cowboys, essentially the worst thing that I see coming from it is going to be you're going to lose that 1 seed. I think the Eagles are still in a really good position to win the division, but getting that number 1 seed could be out the window. And some people may actually say, by the way things line up, it may be better for us. I don't agree with that. I say get home field. And to me, it's not even about the home field. It's about the rest week. We need rest. All right, so I want to look at this real quick, too. The Eagles can clinch a playoff berth under these following conditions. Philly wins plus a Seattle loss or tie, or if Philly wins plus a Los Angeles Rams loss or tie, or if Philly wins a Green Bay loss or tie plus a Minnesota loss or tie. Oh, my gosh. Another scenario is Philly wins plus a Green Bay loss or tie plus Detroit loss. Philly tie plus a Rams loss and a Seattle loss. A Philly tie. Oh, my God. I can't even do this. This is too confusing. All right. Philly tie or Rams loss, Green Bay loss. There's all these scenarios. These are the scenarios. I mean, it gets ridiculous. The easiest thing is this. Just win. Just win. Most likely, like a 99.9% chance, Seattle's going to lose. So if you win, you're probably clinch a playoff spot. Rams, we'll see about them, but got to win this week. You win this week, you get your playoff berth most likely, and you hold that number 1 seed, which is the most important thing at the end of the day, bar none. It is. Got to keep that number 1 seed. And it's not that I'm not afraid to go into Dallas in the playoffs. I'm not afraid to go to San Francisco in the playoffs. I can't wait to play San Francisco again because it's not going to be the same result. But I'm not afraid to go on the road and win. The Eagles are good at that. What I'm worried about is the rest. We need the rest. The old way they used to do the playoffs, I much rather have. I never wanted to get rid of that set number 2 seed getting a bye week. You know, it was the first 2 seeds get a bye week. And I like that. I wish they would have kept it, but because of how many teams they're allowing, they can't do it. I would almost rather allow one more team into the wild card and then give that number 2 seed a bye week. But it is what it is. Eagles need the rest. Other than that, we'll be ready to go. So now we're going to wait on seeing what happens with Ertz, what happens with Sue, and then we're going to see how Leonard adjusts. Either way, big, giant week. It's Dallas week. It's a hate week. Let's go. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision, baby. We're all just living in it. So the media says that the Eagles' loss delegitimized them as contenders on Sunday. I didn't hear that when the Cowboys lost to the 49ers. They weren't delegitimized. I didn't hear Dak Prescott being delegitimized from the MVP race when he couldn't beat Jalen Hurts in Philly and he had 3 times inside the 10 and he couldn't score a touchdown. It's always us because they hate us. And you know what? I'm totally happy with that. Hate us all you want because your news, it's all fake anyways. Denzel Washington, out.